You know, a lot of van builders are getting bigger and bigger battery banks in their vans, and they're going to need bigger and bigger wire. And 4-aught is what I use. 3,000 watt inverters, 630 amps of lithium. I use 4-aught cable. Doesn't matter how long the run is. This is where I'm getting the most bang for my buck. This stuff is not easy to work with. It's heavy, it's rough, it has a mind of its own. So you got to learn how to work with it. And what I'm talking about today is crimping. The most important thing about a wire, any wire, is a good solid crimp. If you don't have a good crimp, you're going to create heat. Heat's going to create a fire. So I got my lugs, okay? This is a 4-aught lug, right? Now, in the old days, last year, I was using a hydraulic crimper. You saw me use this tool. It was okay. You know, it's a Chinese tool and it's very inexpensive. You put your lug in there with the wire and you keep pumping and pumping and pumping until you get a good crimp. But crimp, from crimp to crimp to crimp to crimp, how many pumps was that? I forgot. Did I do 6? Did I do 7? I wasn't getting consistency, and I wasn't confident that I had an excellent crimp every time. Sure, once I put it on, I do the pull test. I do the pull test with every crimp I do. But still, it was fine. And if you're going to build one van for $70 or whatever this was, it's worth it. But I need consistency and I need safety. I'm building vans for people. I don't want that phone call. I bought this tool by Milwaukee, and this baby is a crimping tool. This is very expensive. This is even more expensive than the opener tool. Milwaukee's making a killing. I should get some sort of a stipend from them. But anyway, it comes with, well, it doesn't come with any dies. You have to buy the dies. So this is as easy as it is to change the dies. This is a number 4 wire, and these are my 4-aughts. The dies come in 2 halves, and what's kind of cool is when you make a crimp, these dies stamp an impression of the wire gauge on the side of the lug, which you then cover up with your shrink wrap. So it's only cool for a short while, but that's what this does. This tool, including 1, 2, 3, 4 dies. I just bought the bigger. I bought 4-aught, 2-aught. I went down to about 4 wire, number 4 wire, because anything below that I have other crimpers I can use. But this tool with these dies came in at about $4,500 for this tool. I have to go get a battery. I thought I was prepared. Okay, I'm back. Okay, 18 volt battery, very nice. So what this does, first you gotta prep your wire. So I bought another little tool that I'm testing, because the other problem with working with 4-aught cable, it is very difficult, still talking? Good. Very difficult to cut the skin off of this wire without ruining it, without cutting away some of the strands. So this tool is made to strip off the wire at the specified point you made your mark. See that? You just keep going around, and there's a little razor roller, and it goes around and around, and it's cutting through this insulative jacket. And as soon as you start to feel it getting coarse and it's rubbing against the strands, you can take it off. Now it does have a lever where you can turn that cutting wheel sideways and pull it off the end. It's supposed to put a slice. Doesn't work. Now in all fairness, this is an inexpensive version of this tool. This was $35 on Amazon. I figured I was going to try it first before I invested in a better version of it. And it works. It works quite well, actually. This is 4-aught. This is the struggle you go through with 4-aught cable. Still recording? Yeah, it's a success story waiting to happen. Now it's coming off. Now when you pull this off, you got to be careful that you don't fray out and spread these strands. Like I said, this really is only pertaining to the 4-aught, the bigger gauge wires, okay? I lost one. The wires have a spiral, the way they go through the jacket. Follow that spiral. You kind of put your lug on from one side and spin it on. Make sure every strand is inside that lug, okay? The other thing that I like to do is, you see this particular wire has a natural curve to it. So I'll go in the van with this thing and I'll set it on my bus bar and position this on the wire so so I don't have to fight it. You know, if it was this way and now I got to bring it that way, I'm fighting it. Why would you do that? Work with the wire. The wire's trying to talk to you, right? I've said that before. Now I got to get another tool. You'd think I'd have got this all set up before I started. What can I tell you? I'm working very hard, doing a million things. Another thing I like to do once I put that lug on, the lug is tapered towards the front here, and I cut my strip away so that some of that wire, I can force it into that taper. Then I know I got it seated. So now you put this baby in the tool. You've got to be very careful. Keep your fingers out of the way. But this tool, that's it, one crimp. This tool, it's a Bluetooth tool, and it records every crimp you make. As long as that blue light comes on, it was a successful crimp. Now here's the other thing that I like about this tool. It's so precise as compared to that other hydraulic. What I now do with every crimp, every lug, is I do 2 crimps. As long as there's room on the lug, that baby's not going anywhere, okay? And there's a little stamp on here that says 4-aught, right? But as I said, you're going to cover that up with your heat shrink. Now the heat shrink, you should put the heat shrink on before you do the lug. Trust me. In certain cases, you can sneak it on like that. So the heat shrink slips on, you get your heat gun, and what I do, I heat from the center out. That way, the air has somewhere to go that's inside this. From the center out. The other thing you could do is you could go from one end to the other. But basically, you want to make sure that you're not sealing any air inside. And then you'll have a good, clean connection that won't corrode, right? And you'll know when this is done because it's going to start to take shape of the lug. You'll see some of the indents that you made with the tool. That's how you know you got a good. Now that's ready to be put on the bus bar. Now another thing I'll do is I'll go put this on the bus bar and I'll route it to where this end's supposed to go. And I'll make this look real nice. Then I'll cut this, put the other lug on. Now you've got a custom fitted wire.